What's up, everybody? Daniel Hofflich here. This is the first ever Game Night podcast, and I couldn't think of a better way to start a Game Night podcast than talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake. And joined with me, I have Robert Pennington wearing that sweet E3 2019 hat. How you doing, Rob?
Doing great, Daniel. Thanks for inviting me, allowing me to be a part of this. Really anxious.
Yeah, man. Why don't you go ahead and tell me what your connection to the original Final Fantasy VII is, so that way we kind of have a little bit of background.
Okay. Well, some of it has to do with actually you, because I remember when we met, we both had played the game, but you knew more than I did about it. To me, it was kind of like a casual game, and it wasn't, I don't think, until we started connecting that I started kind of going back and just realizing, like, wow, what a great darn game it was. And I mean, going back, and I just, even while I was playing this newer version, there's just so many times where it's like I'm small again. I was like, I'm a little kid. I was like, oh man. I was like, oh my god. So, yeah, it was probably like one of the first games where I remember devoting myself to. Would probably be a better way to say it.
Okay, I like that. So, quick thoughts, like maybe like a 1 to 2 sentence thing, so people know what to expect from this recap video or review, discussion, whatever this is, podcast about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Give me a 1 to 2 sentence like thought on what Final Fantasy VII Remake, what you thought of it. Yeah.
Actually, I'd probably think the best thing to say is for any old school players, expect the unexpected. For any first time people, get ready.
So, would you say positive or?
I would say I feel positive. I do feel positive.
Okay, coming out of it. All right.
I do. I feel more positive than negative would probably be a better way to sum it up.
Okay. All right, and by the way, as you can see, we are using Google Duo. So shout out to them, right? They're not anywhere near affiliated with this video. We're not getting paid, but there they are.
Yeah, Skype dropped us. Darn it.
Yes, yeah, couldn't cut a deal with Skype. All right, so my name is Daniel Hofflich, as I previously stated. Final Fantasy VII for me is more than a video game. So for me personally, as a personal like background of what this game means to me, growing up when I was 7, I went downstairs and I had to sneak downstairs to watch my brother play Final Fantasy VII because I was not allowed to play rated teen games at the time. So I had to sneak down there, watch him. So I formed this really cool like bond with my older brother. And eventually he was able to convince Mom to let me play it. So I did. And from there, my 7-year-old mind just could not comprehend the amazing complexixities and just everything that was going on in the story. But I just knew that it was something special. My imagination from there basically just grew from Final Fantasy VII. Like everything, like my creativity, my thought process, everything that like stories I'd come up with in my head. Everything was rooted back to Final Fantasy VII. So, a couple years later, my brother Sean passed away. So, Final Fantasy VII is such a bridge between me and him that allow me to just feel closer to him whenever I'm playing the game or just this remake in general. I know he would have been really excited about playing it. So. That's my personal connection to the game. It's just a lot more. There's a lot more to it than just the game to me. And the themes of Final Fantasy VII are life and death, and it's been a good something I resonate with, I guess. All right, so
this is gonna get deep.
I got a lot of splaining to do after that reaction video that I had on YouTube. If anybody's a reoccurring visitor here and wanting to see this podcast after that review or that reaction, but anyways, so Final Fantasy VII Remake, just so you know what you're getting into, you have Robert up there who is going to be providing a more positive outlook on this, where I will be struggling to find any good in it.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
It's not fair. I mean, I want to like this game. I want to be excited about the future of this unknown journey that they're setting up. Trust me, I want to. I don't think there's anybody out there who's going to be rooting for Square to pull this off more than me. And because of how much Final Fantasy VII means to me. So yeah, I didn't like the ending. I can tell you that right now.
Didn't like the ending.
Did not like the ending. I think we could probably dive into that right now, or we could start just like kind of start from the beginning and like break it down from, you know what I mean, like each chapter.
Let's start with the big thing first.
Let's get that out of the way.
Let's get the massive mountain that is like in front, like they were all just like standing at and staring, going, "What is this?
Yeah,
what is this?" So,
Robert, would you like to start?
Well, yeah, with me. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was confused. I was very, very confused. Not just with the ending, but with several aspects of the game throughout. A lot of it had to do with the additional content that they added. These new characters, beings, whatever you want to call them, the whispers. Mm-hmm. And granted, it wasn't until after I finished the game and I was able to do some research myself and start piecing other things together, where I started kind of figuring. I finally was able to see, I think, what the director was trying to go for. I guess I had a better picture of it, and it made me just kind of take a step back and go, you know what? Good on them for really trying to do something different, because in this day and age, you know, I mean, Hollywood's got nothing but remakes and rehashes and reboots, and that's usually what people are begging for, and we've been begging for this for a long time. So when we got it, you know, both you and I hold it pretty sacred, more so you than me. So when they took it and they started messing around with it, I guess I was just more on the positive, just like, okay, I guess I trusted them. I trusted them to go with the story and with everything. And like I said, it wasn't until after I'd finished the game and done the research and started piecing everything together, I was finally able to say, you know what? Good job. Really good job. I did enjoy it. I found the little twist at the end to be so fourth wall and like meta breaking.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of why I think I liked it. It was almost like they were looking right at you and saying, you know what? Now this is different. You know, this isn't what it used to be. And I guess it kind of gave me hope. You know, I felt like Zack felt like I was Zack, and I just defeated like 150 Shenra soldiers. Now I got Cloud on my back, and I'm about to go see my girlfriend and get some, you know.
No matter what.
No matter what. Oh man. I will harp on the some of the dialogue. It felt, I think we talked about Kingdom Hearts 3. Felt a little bit of Kingdom Hearts 3 cheesiness. But I can't take, like, I really do, and this was something I was trying to hold off for this, and I'm glad we can get to it. It reminds me a lot of how I saw, or how I used to view The Last Jedi with Rian Johnson. How mad I was initially for what he tried to do, and it wasn't until the next film where we talked about that, and it's like, you know what, I got what I wanted, you know. It wasn't until someone, you know, give somebody what they want, or you give somebody what they need, and see which one they really enjoy. And I finally see, like, you know what? This is what I needed. Not what I wanted, but this is what I needed. And I'm so hopeful, and I'm so positive, and I cannot wait for the future now of these two games. I'm ecstatic to go back and play as Zack now on a different timeline where things have now changed. And it's like, what if, you know, now we're almost in this what if Zack lived? Mm-hmm. You know? So we get to have that, and a lot of people weren't expecting it. I sure as hell wasn't expecting it, and some people aren't happy about it, obviously. but that's how I felt. I really think they said, you know what, guys, the original game is sacred, and I think that's why they feel like, you know what, let's do our own thing with this one.
Okay. All right. Like, I'm glad you brought up the Star Wars reference, because I will be going back to like make a analogy on that as well. But like, so just immediately following off of the alternate timeline, for me, as soon as you introduce an alternate timeline, a time traveling aspect, anything like that, it immediately takes away from the impact of any kind of emotional scene. So any death doesn't matter as much. You once you introduce that aspect, the what if aspect, things start to just get less impactful. It just becomes a comic book, in my opinion. And I don't think Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, of course, it's a video game. It's fictional, but I don't think that it was a comic book in any sense. In that kind of way. I guess I think since life and death was such a huge theme for the game, it just seems kind of like a cop-out for me. It feels like a cop-out. To bring Zack back, I feel like that he was a fan favorite, and they're like, hey, let's give him more screen time. He's a fan favorite for a reason, in my opinion, of his heroic sacrifice. He's a fan favorite because of that. For him walking away from it, it kind of takes away from it. But then again, we don't know if he's alive. I don't think they would have shown that scene if he wasn't going to be alive in this alternate timeline. But he doesn't technically die until it starts raining and he's on that cliff, and then more soldiers come up and finish him off. Right. But
more to the scene, but right.
Yeah, from the context of what was happening on the screen, he walks away. He walks to Midgar with this new sunrise on his, new fate. So it takes away from it. Then I guess if you're going to go with the whole uncertainty of if Aerith is going to live in the future of this, that just kind of takes away from it too. She didn't die just for a shock factor in the original. She died for a reason. Like, her death was very meaningful. And I think that just having the whole what if on that, will she or won't she, I think that's kind of just not what we were looking forward to. When I say we, I will speak for myself, but I will use we a lot because I feel like I'm speaking for hardcore fans of the original who cherish the story. But that's just the future of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm sure we'll touch on that a little bit more. But as far as the ending goes, I thought the gigantic Kingdom Hearts Heartless style boss was just out of place. Did not fit in at all. I thought fighting Destiny itself was cheesy, and it just it was weird. Did
you enjoy fighting your future selves?
Yeah, I saw that theory, or when you use assess, it shows like a sword fighter and a barret, or in a gun and a fist fighter from the future protecting their timeline. I'm like, God, but I've had a week to calm down and compose some thoughts here, so I'm trying not to let it get to me too much. But anyways, I thought that was just really, it was weird. It did not, even for Final Fantasy VII standards, it didn't fit into that universe, in my opinion. Especially right after Midgar, which our heroes were just getting started on their journey. Everything else that followed before this was grounded. You couldn't even jump. There's no jump button. So everything is literally grounded in this kind of realistic combat, which was amazing, by the way. But like, it was grounded in a kind of a realistic way. And then when you step in there, you're doing all this sort of acrobatic stuff. Cloud is slicing through buildings. He couldn't cut through a door earlier in the game, but he can slice.
Your Advent Children. Yeah. Advent Children level power.
Tifa jumps up 3 stories and drop kicks a building out of the way. I don't know. It was just like, did they just get superpowers? I think the only thing was that I can explain it was maybe when they stepped into this alternate dimension, it was not reality, and then they discovered that they had these abilities or something like that. Maybe they'll explain it in the second one. But then you fight Sephiroth, and when you're fighting Sephiroth, and it literally is a shot for shot of them, like as it pans in, and they're like Cloud's face, Sephiroth's face, and it's like the face off just from the end of Final Fantasy VII, the original, just like it. And they face off like that. And I'm like, they just blew their load early. That was just like, seriously, man. Like, I'm...
you're repressing when Cloud's flying in.
Well, yeah, that was definitely a direct
from the end, from the OG. Yeah, that was definitely... I wanted to ask you. I was trying not to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Because I wanted to ask you. It's like, so... Did you see everything about like the those shadows and like kind of like what they represented? And
okay,
did you?
All right, I'm coming back to that. Let me come back to you. You're talking about
because I also want to go with that. Yes, because I also want to touch on them as well.
Or the Whispers. So I just like I was saying with the Sephiroth thing, I thought that was weird. It was an illusion of Sephiroth when you fight him as the final boss, I guess. It wasn't actually him. But just to fight him like in that kind of acrobatic and just stylish way, it just felt so early, and it just my biggest thing, like, we just defeated Destiny itself, Fate incarnate. We've already fought Sephiroth. Is a goblin in the field going to give me a hard time in part 2? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we've already defeated Destiny, and like, you're gonna tell me where's the character growth? Where's the that kind of balance? But anyways, I'm sure they'll figure it out. With the whole specters or the Whispers is what they called them, the Harbingers of Fate.
Was it Harbingers or Arbiters? I think
the
Red
Arbiters. Arbiters of Fate.
Matter.
Okay, you're probably right. So anyways, these guys are very, very meta, very symbolic of me, and so they are me, and
they are us. They are the fandom.
They are us, the fandom, who wanted this game to be a faithful remake to the original. And when I say this, where I'm just like, oh yeah, I wanted it to be a 1-to-1. I'm not saying that. I wanted everything I got in this game. I wanted the combat, the gameplay, the graphics, everything they nailed it. It was perfect. But anyways, I wanted the story to stay faithful to the original. I wanted the integrity of the original to remain intact. But just remade for modern times. So I'm going to use the word remake a lot. So that way you understand, or people listening understand, the word remake does not mean remaster. Like, the whole remake remaster argument is stupid. This is a remake.
I think reimagining might even be a better way to say it.
Sure. Yeah, it's just when you remake something, especially for 15 years, people have been begging for this remake, and they have referred to it, fans have referred to it as a remake. They said, when's Final Fantasy VII Remake coming out? That's what they would say since 2005 when they showed the PS3 tech demo. People would say, when is this remake coming out? When are you going to remake Final Fantasy VII? We want to play it on modern consoles. It took them 10 years to finally announce it. But within those 10 years, people were like just on pins and needles waiting for this thing to be announced. And we would requested, this is what we wanted, a remake. They announced it. The promise has been made is pretty much I think that's what they said. The promise has been made. They are coming at the end of the announcement. But they are coming back. Anyways, the whole marketing of this game was deceitful. They named it Final Fantasy VII Remake. It was. There's no way
Nice.
that you can convince me that they weren't like in the back of their mind saying,
Been bamboozled.
"We're gonna bamboozle them."
I've been swindled.
Dare I say it? I've been bamboozled.
Bamboozled.
Yeah. They marketed it as they even called it Final Fantasy VII Remake, just to like say, "We got you. Come on in. Come on in." And they got everybody excited about it. We can't wait to see how they do this. Can't wait to see how they do the cloud cross-dressing scene. They never said, I can't wait until they do a dramatic departure from the storyline. Nothing like that. Nobody said that.
I can't wait till they destroy my dreams.
Right. So anyways, we'll circling back after that tantrum. But circling back to the Whispers. They were symbolic of hopes and dreams of a faithful remake. What a cruel betrayal to have you as the player kill them. Kill your hopes and dreams of a faithful remake as the final boss. What a cruel betrayal to have everything that you remember, the nostalgia from the original, the opening Midgar. We have all your key favorite parts. We have it all. We have Cloud's cross-dressing scene. We have the plate dropping down. We showed all of that in the trailers to get you excited, to bring you in.
Can I ask you a question? Is your copy of the game still intact somewhere?
I will get to that too.
Okay. Because I can't imagine this is sitting on your shelf somewhere in a spot that you get to see every day. You know, it's just like, I don't want that. Get it out of here. Get this out of here.
All right, I know I'm going on for a little bit. I want to, obviously this is a, go back and forth talk here, but I'm just trying to get it all out real quick. Yeah, they had you kill that at the end, and that for me, like I said in the description of that reaction video, it feels like the ultimate betrayal, and I had never felt so betrayed in my entire life. And that sounds dramatic. It sounds like an overreaction, but like I said at the beginning of this video, the original Final Fantasy VII story means so much to me, and they slapped me in the face, and they put a swift kick to the nuts after giving me a nice tight hug. You know what I mean? That's how it felt.
Pat you on the back.
They gave me a nice hug and then just punched me in the face. So it was, yeah. I just had never felt so betrayed. Like, this game had me, no lie, depressed this entire week. I've been sitting around doing nothing, Robert. I've been doing nothing. I literally just gave my son Mario Kart so he can play it all day long. Because I just can't. I couldn't.
I can't even deal with my children right now.
I can't even deal with it right now.
I can't even look at my son Cloud in the face without wanting to punch him.
Well, if we weren't having a girl next, it was going to be Cloud. So yeah.
Are you serious? Yeah. She was going to let you do it.
Oh, I was pulling for it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Nice. Okay. Well, because I do want to go back to the Whispers, because to me, throughout the game, they confused the hell out of me. I wasn't picking up what they were putting down, I guess. But to go back now, it's I really do. I love the concept to think that if these characters, if these places and these people were real beings, and if you could wind back the clocks and reset everything, would it all still play out in the exact same way? Not as a video game, because as a video game, you get to choose how, you make a video game, you design it this way. So I really enjoyed, like I said, the meta, and it's almost like a fourth wall. It's to say, okay, guys, we're going to give you what you want, but be careful what you wish for. Is what I really feel like that could have been on the box art at the very bottom, Be careful what you wish for.
Oh, don't get me started on the box art and what the description on the back of that said.
But like
another lie.
Another lie.
Go ahead,
I really enjoyed that it was like, you know what, we're going to give you what you want. We're going to give you a readaptation. But however, like I said, it's like, if these were real people and these were real events that were playing out and it was happening again in real time, would everything still have fallen, in the exact same, would the dominoes have still went the way it did? And as a person who's a huge fan of, I love film theory, I love great storytelling, and sometimes time traveling is cheap, sometimes it's done right.
Only done once,
Endgame.
in my opinion. Yeah, I was going to say Endgame is the only one that's pulled it off.
Sometimes it's done right, Endgame. But it just, like I said, I thought it almost brought like a human element to it. Almost felt like the video game itself was a living person. And that's what kind of grabbed me at the very end. And I was like, God, that's a hell of a thing to do, because it's one, you're taking this thing that we all love, and you're just look at it now, so but I fell for it, I guess you want to say. I don't know if you want to call me short-sighted, gullible, at least in a bit of a way, but I fell for it, and I got on board because like I was saying earlier, I feel like they're giving me what I need, not what I want. Because what I want is what you said earlier that you didn't want. I want a 1-for-1 remake with just the best graphics possible, period. I don't even care if you could keep the battle system the same. All of that. I wouldn't have cared, okay? Just give me that game one more time. But now it did, and now I'm like, what? That's not what I asked for, but by God, if I'm really not enjoying it, soaking it all in, and just I really can't wait for the future. And this goes all the way back to everything, why they chose to possibly go this route. Compilation of Final Fantasy VII, we played that. Both you and I played most of it, and we know the broad strokes, a lot of the minor characters and all this and that. So if you know Final Fantasy VII, you know Sephiroth is not defeated at the end of Final Fantasy VII. He is not defeated at the end of Advent Children. He still exists within the planet, and he is still a plague upon the planet. Mm-hmm. So, maybe this time, they're going to try to get it right. Now, with the time travel thing, some things can change, but some things can stay the same. So Aerith's death could still happen. When that Barrett scene happened, I thought for a second, did this game did it just try to do I'm telling you, I was happy with sadness when Barrett got stabbed, literally, because I thought they just grabbed every player by the testicles or their whatever reproductive organs you use and twisted them and said, "You like it? Did you like it now? Huh? You still want to play this game?" and then obviously they kind of retcon that with the little spirits, because they're like, hey, right, because those spirits are the fans, and the fans would have been like, no, you bring Barrett back. So that part gave me a little shock, and it kind of almost made me ready for what happened later on. It kind of got me in the mood for and that's why I texted you while I was in the middle of that one fight. I'm like, Danny, I have a theory, and I hope I'm wrong, but I have a theory.
And I'm like, oh no, you're right.
well, I was right and I wasn't right. I think I got a little bit of it right, and I think I got some of it wrong. But yeah, man, in the end, I really enjoyed it, and I think that's probably, to me and you, that's just probably going to be the biggest gripe. At least, or the biggest thing that we're going to disagree on, most likely. But I want to ask you about one thing that I remember I told you very early on. I have one problem with this game, and
I was curious.
It persisted pretty far into the game until I got to the point where I was pretty much really, really comfortable. If I have to go into a boss fight, if I set my character right before a boss fight, I know a boss fight's coming, right? I'm going to set my characters to the best of my abilities. I'm going to go into a boss fight. I'm going to scan him with my assess. And I'm going to see, oh, damn it. The one materia that I need to like really defeat this person and like to break it all down, or like, oh my god, I scanned him. Holy shit, he's got a weapon that I can't steal because I didn't equip the damn steel material this time because I thought I needed some HP up, or I thought I needed some cures or some elementals, or because I wanted to upgrade another materia.
Yeah.
How many damn times I almost would like lose intentionally just so I could like restart the fight, and it persisted pretty late into the game, and it even got me. Oh, it got me at the very end. It got me at the very damn end when I was one-on-one with Sephiroth. The game will give you a chance to pull up a menu while a cutscene's playing to load your character, right? I didn't know that like, I was afraid to push that button because these cutscenes that were happening, I thought, like, I don't want to skip cutscenes.
Right.
So I wasn't doing that throughout the whole game until I get to Sephiroth and I see it. And I was like, fuck it. Let me press it this one time. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, I hit it and it brings up the menu and I'm like, oh, I can set. And I was like, it's just Cloud. So I'm like, oh, I can set Cloud, and I'm going to fight Sephiroth. Oh, well, I had Magnify with healing. Well, it's just me. I'm just Cloud. I don't need Magnify. Oh, let me get rid of some of these other stupid materia slots. Oh, Barret, what did Barret have? He had Lightning 3. Oh, I'm going to need that for this fight. And then what happened? What the fuck happened? Oh, all of a sudden it's 3-on-1. Oh, shit, and I don't have the fucking materia I need. I had 26 mega potions going into that fight. I left with 0. Because I didn't have my cure materia with my Magnify. Which is like that's it. That's all. Yeah, like I could have cut. The battle would have been done in like half the damn time if I didn't have to keep running around, like sitting far back and like, please God, don't hit me. Please God, don't hit me. Please God, don't hit me.
Oh man.
So,
okay.
That is what was my biggest gripe.
Yeah.
However, looking back, it's like, you know what? It's a learning curve. The only thing I'm pissed off about is the steel stuff, but that's why they have the end game content. If I want, I can go back and get, other stuff like that. But it was a speed bump that I hit very, very frequently, and it was very, very frustrating.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. Like going into fights, hoping that you have the right materia combination. It was a little frustrating. I only did it once where I intentionally lost the fight. That was versus the Hell House, and I was just like, "Oh crap! I need to die on purpose real quick." There's no way I'm gonna make any chip damage on this guy.
There was a really cool one. There was a battle I was doing. I really can't remember. It was Aerith. I had Aerith and it might have been Aerith and Tifa. I don't know, but I literally went into the battle and Tifa goes down just instantly, and it was one of those moments where I wasn't ready, I was like, damn it, I'm gonna have to die and reset my materia. She goes down immediately, and I'm literally just like, as Aerith, I just like set the control. I was like, fuck it, just like start hitting, and she like starts like doing okay, and I was like, you know what, let me just fight it out, and I ended up winning the damn battle literally after about 30 seconds of like just setting the controller down. It's like okay, you have to take a step back. You really have to analyze. Like I gotta use this character or this material on this character. You've got to learn your abilities. You've got to know which abilities you want to use. With Rufus Shenra, one of the coolest thing about that fight, which was so frustrating. God, it was frustrating. But the coolest thing is that when you assess him, it says he is vulnerable to staggering if you use the right move. Uh-huh. So I had to go through my abilities and eventually it was the focus thrust. If you hit that focus thrust while he's reloading, bam, you can start hitting a stagger. So things like that I really did like, and it kind of made me saying, okay, maybe I'm just an idiot or I suck. But it was extremely frustrating, to get that far into the game before like, damn it, man. And
yeah. With I didn't have the assess material on Rufus, so that was I didn't know about the focus thrust. I guess I ended up just figuring that out. But I guess that's a very fair point. Going into the battles, being more prepared would have been, or at least been able to just like pause the game and just like re-equip your menu like while you're in the middle of a fight. Just like let me just figure this out real quick. But I also, in a weird kind of way, I kind of liked it. Because I was like, I was kind of like, okay, I got you next time. I got you. Let me rearrange my materia real quick. I'll be back. And then I come back and, those bosses still required a lot of tactical maneuvering and thoughtful processes. It wasn't just hack and slash, which I loved. Like, it wasn't just hack and slash. If anything, it was turn based. Like, it was
Yes.
ATB from the original. Just mixed. It was married so well with action games of modern day. So I think they remade that really well. So the combat, if we're going to go talk about that, I thought it was absolutely excellent. I couldn't get enough.
Epic.
I was addicted. Yeah, just addicted to the combat. I still go back and I play it now. Dude, go back and play it on hard mode, because now it just becomes a... No, dude, it becomes a whole new breed.
I read what it is. You can't use items at all.
You can't use items.
At all. You can't throw items?
Scorpion wrecked me at the beginning. I was like, oh my god. You can't use items. What the heck?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't even throw, like grenades?
Oh, no. No items. No items whatsoever. No. It's grayed out, so you can't select it. So the Scorpion fight, I used up all my Thundagas, man. Like, boom, boom, boom. And then I was like, I gotta use an ether. Oh, crap. I can't use an ether. So you have to be more strategic on like when you use that Thundaga to make him stagger and then get into the... It's a really fun on hard mode, except for I'm at the pillar now on hard mode, and that is just... I can't, man.
You're fighting your way up the pillar right now?
Yeah, and like, dude, I'm at level 50 with all my characters, and I'm like, okay, I have to reassess everything. Like, I have to figure out how I'm going to approach a helicopter soldier. Like, I have to figure out how to approach it. So the combat was so much fun. The in-game content with hard mode is a challenge, and it's definitely adds to the replayability of it. As far as gameplay goes, I guess let's just get into our review then. Like, we'll start with gameplay. I've already said the battling was just amazing. And then the other half of this, two-headed beast was battle and exploration. So the exploration at times was a little dull, I will admit, because there were just long corridors where just you're doing nothing. You're just running.
I would talk out loud while that was happening in the game.
And you're just, because you didn't, you're just,
why is this so long? Why are these walls so damn detailed if I'm just running down here,
Yeah. The some of the dungeon like puzzles were really simplistic. Like the whole operating the crane thing to get Aerith to move around, that was really simplistic. But I think when you get into the hub areas where you got like Wall Market, the Seventh Heaven area and stuff like that, I thought that was done well, because the side quests encouraged exploration. They made you go to these nooks and crannies that you didn't go to before or whatever. Fetching cats was a fetch quest, and that was unnecessary, stupid. But it did add to the lore of the world around you, and I did like connecting with these people. So I started to end up caring a lot more about, like, oh my god, the plate's gonna fall on these guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all I could think. Like, I like these people, and the plate's gonna fall on you guys. You don't even know it.
Yeah, to like jump with yours, something that like once again, thanks to you and Greg, something that Mass Effect taught me was standing near NPCs and just listening to them conversate. And if you kept doing it, if you kept doing it, you would sometimes catch, more and more conversations about stuff. And that was kind of cool, because some of it was funny stuff. Some of it was, I would say a lot of it was probably just Easter eggs and little subtle nods to not only the original, but to other characters and stuff that took place in compilation. And I remember I was texting you a lot about like how the character Leslie was in the prologue to Advent Children,
And Kyrie, yeah.
Yeah, and Kyrie too. She was also in the prologue. And what is it? There's a character who's like he has a detective shop, and it's named after the one lady's grandmother who was like the queen of the slums. I can't remember. The angel of the slums. I can't remember.
The angel of the slums. Yeah,
yeah, I can't
called
remember.
that right when I was like, it's
it's the old damn lady. Come on, like I've seen this before. Jesus.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But gameplay, I can't say enough about it. I did enjoy it. The exploration, like you said, it's linear. I probably would say that God of War 2000, modern God of War did a better job with linear open
definitely.
world.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted maybe a little bit more of that. I do think Cloud as a soldier should be able to maneuver certain areas a little better. Even if you have the other party members with you, as you can see, if you do explore, sometimes they don't follow you, which is good because as the player now okay, I'm in a spot I maybe shouldn't be. So I just thought like maybe Cloud should be able to do a little bit more. But hey, we've got the future. You got to see Red 13, what he can do with exploration, and I was already like, yes. I was like, thank God. I was like, finally, something like a cool ability that like this person brings. Like how awesome would it have been for like Barrett to even be able to like take out like security cameras before battles happen to like to help with things like that. It's like I feel like they could have probably done a little bit more, but with what they had, like I almost say 9 out of 10 on just about everything except music gets 10 or gets 100 out of 10. Music gets 100 out of 10.
Yeah, soundtrack is literally the best soundtrack in video games since the original. And the original surpasses it for just nostalgia reasons for me. But yeah, the soundtrack in this game was just hands down like 10 out of 10. If you can't go higher than 10, I guess. I don't know. But 10 out of 10, easy. Gameplay, I think I give it a 10 out of 10 just because of how fun the combat is and just how it outweighs everything else. I want to play that game again and again and again just for the combat. I'm addicted to it. I love it. So going on to graphics, I thought graphics were they were top notch. I think
beautiful.
I think this game is a testament to PS5. I think what it's going to be is like when you go back and you play this game on PS5 or Series X, because it's going to come out for that too. When you go back and play it on that, I think you're going to be like, oh my god, okay, all the textures are loading in now. That's great. I think, yeah.
I found myself doing the same thing you said. Pre-plate falling, and then especially even more after the plate fell, and even more so once you get closer to Shinra building, just stopping and looking around and rotating the camera and just looking and like, God, this was. I remember this city. This 98, bro. Let me tell you.
God, well, that was my favorite thing. I think that was one of my favorite things to do early game was to rotate the thumbstick and look up. Like it was one of my favorite things to do just because I was like, oh my god, this is what it looks like from ground view. Like in the original, you couldn't do that. You had to use your imagination that you're under this pizza in the sky. You never got to see it from the ground up, and it was just beautiful. I loved it. And then when the plate fell, that was insane. I will say that I had one gripe about it, was that when the plate fell and you go back to check for survivors, I don't know how morbid they were trying to get with it, but I would have liked to seen a lot more death. You know what I mean? Like I would have liked to have seen like characters just really just a lot of bodies around. I don't know, because an entire city fell. There was a lot of people above and below. I was like, where's all the bodies? But that's okay. That's okay. When you're climbing the pillar, and you're looking over at the on the day Midgar stood still mission, and you're looking down at the devastation, and it was just like, wow. I stopped a lot to try to get a good screenshot, which no camera mode in this game is criminal.
Yeah, man.
No photo mode.
Oh, so many times. Especially another place I wanted camera mode almost more than anywhere was inside inside Hojo's research. That whole map design, level design, whatever. God, that was such a cool addition that they put that in there, and it just. They gave us so much of what we did want. They really did. They knew what we did want. And I guess that's why to you it probably feels even more like an even bigger betrayal, because they kind of fed you all the way to the end, and then just no.
And then just continued putting their hand down my throat and just here's all your food, and then it just ripped my heart out, man. It just ripped my heart out, and they were like, "Here, you eat it. You eat it." As the player, I want you to eat your heart. Oh man, dude. Okay, but anyways.
Now, you said you were going to touch back about how Star Wars. You said you were going to come back to Star Wars with Rian Johnson or something like that, or.
Well, I think this next segment of the review is worthy of coming back to it. So we have already touched on graphics. We've touched on gameplay. We touched on soundtrack. All of those things, I think we can both agree, just either 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10. I didn't get your official scores on each one of those, but
sound's a 10, easy. Sound was a 10, easy. Gameplay, I'm gonna just go 9, 10, just for that one gripe, just for that one problem I had. You know,
that's fair.
That was the gameplay, the sound, graphics. I mean, I think, God, yeah, it really was beautiful, man. God, it was just.
Yeah, it was for what this current generation is capable of. Yeah. I mean, it
was so gorgeous. Midgar, you are one beautiful bitch, baby. You know that. God.
All right, so that goes on to the big one, which is what Final Fantasy is. Story. So we go to story, and let me bring up my notes, man, because I had to put my thoughts down on it. I had to. Hold on, let me scroll through my notes real quick.
Where's
God!
Where's that one
man.
positive sentence I put? Where is it? Where is it?
Well, I'm gonna start with it. Let's start with my positivity. Okay, story, excellent voice acting and character development, in my opinion. I just loved every character or every voice actor that they got for my favorite characters: Cloud, Tifa, Barrett. Aerith, they were all done so well.
Touch one thing. Wedge's character, Wedge's character. You're not familiar. I'm not sure with Breaking Bad. Yes. Yeah. As I'm playing the game, as I was playing the game, I was like, Heather, listen. Who's that? I was like, she goes, no, I know who it is. I'm like, it's Badger. I was like, that's fucking Badger. I was like, yeah. So yes, great on the voice acting. I will give him that.
They actually gave him. That was the thing, man. They gave the members of Avalanche some really cool moments. Like, I loved it when Wedge came in and helped out. And the dogs chased them and bit them in the in the butt cheek in the butt cheek.
I really want to.
So funny.
So good. I really wanted Cloud to sleep with Jessie, but then again, I really wanted to sleep with Scarlet. I mean, Jesus.
Did you hear her theme song?
I played it, but I didn't pay attention to it. I picked it up at the end.
I stood by the jukebox to listen.
Oh, you did?
I was like, what are they saying? Let me go back. Oh god, talking about a red dress and stuff underneath. I was like, oh my. Okay, but anyways, so I loved what they did with Avalanche, and I think I'll touch on that in this written thing. But yeah, they gave Wedge such a great moment. They gave Biggs a great moment, and Jesse a great moment, just to get into their personal lives, and
humanizing,
just make you care about
humanizing
them.
These characters,
make you care about them a lot more. I didn't think I was going to want that. Right? So I'll come back to that. I was pleasantly surprised to hear that these characters come to life in such a well-done manner. Each character was brimming with personality. Final Fantasy VII definitely has its fair share of eccentric characters. So it was no stranger to have people like Roche in there, which I actually kind of ended up being okay with. Then we go into
which one was Roche?
Visiting Jesse's.
Which one was Roche? Sorry,
the guy on the motorcycle, the soldier.
Yeah, you only fought him one time, right? Or is it twice? You see him twice. Okay,
twice.
Okay,
you see him twice. Yeah, I was like, all right, cool, because it shows that there are other members of Soldier. I mean, Shinra didn't only have 3, or 4, or whatever you want to count.
Right.
But yeah, so. I grew more attached to the other members of Avalanche than I did in the original. Going back, the check for survivors after the plate drop just made sense to me. I thought that was a great addition. And then I think it added to the sense of despair within the with the plate dropping, cities of people and everything. Is just so good to go back. These are the kind of new story additions that I considered to be new and surprising to keep fans of the originals on their toes. Okay? That is what I associated that statement with when Katase said that. Alright? And then...
Shame on you.
We're gonna go on...
Shame on you, then.
So go on to my... to my negatives here. I was removed completely and just completely removed emotionally from every scene that the Spectre showed up in. I rolled my eyes every time they came on screen. I thought it was the most ignorant thing because they were there literally like interfering with key moments from the original. And I'm like, I know that they were keeping them intact, but I'm like, Cloud wasn't held back when Jessie died. Like nobody held Cloud back when she died. I was like, that just... And for me, as I'm going through it, it made no sense. But of course, now in hindsight, everything is 2020. But
everything is 2020.
Every 2020. So yeah. So like, I was removed emotionally from every scene that they were in. The once beautifully simplistic meetings between Cloud and Aerith from the original, just completely ruined here. They were disrupted. Meeting Aerith at the church again for the second time. We'll go back to the first time when you meet her the first time. It is completely different. And I was like, whoa, who are these specters or who are these ghost-like figures circling? It had me kind of excited. I was like, all right, they're new. I was also kind of like, they can't be too important now because I don't want them to change my story. But I was like, I want to, maybe they're just for this remake.
See, I thought.
Sorry,
I'm just saying. I thought that they were associated with the reunion. That was my initial. I thought they were somehow associated with the reunion of the Genova reunion that Hojo had started.
That's a fair assumption.
That was my first. That was my first guess, at least. And then you obviously meet the guy at the Seventh Heaven Hotel who's got the tattoo, and once again, I was just like, it kind of seemed like those two things just meshed together. But
yeah, because they showed up right after that.
Exactly.
Like, right there, sleep tight, Cloud, or something like that. Have sweet dreams. But then you go into just Aerith. I really wanted to touch on that because I think the reason why we fell in love with these characters is because of the events of the original. It's not because they're really, really leaning heavily on your nostalgia of your love for these characters, but they haven't earned it. They didn't earn it. So when I met Aerith for the first time, I was like, this is weird. This is whack. Like, Cloud meeting Aerith is just, it's not simple anymore because Aerith is a very simple character in nature, and just in her nature. And then adding these specters and things like that just took me out of it. I was just like, this is not a very good scene anymore to me. And then when you fall into the church, and I was really looking forward to dropping some barrels on people, they took that out. They took that out completely.
I thought the same thing. I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm ready for this.
And what was it that removed me from that moment? The specters back again to force me down this path and then catch Aerith when she falls. I'm like, come on, what is going on? And like, I'm just trying to, and then they would leave just for me to say, okay, they're gone. And then I'm back to like my mindset of like, this is amazing. We finally get back on the roof, and it's like, this is what I remember. This is what I love. This is Final Fantasy VII to me. Cloud and Aerith, great. We're back on the roof. Everything's good. But then for Jesse, Biggs, and even Wedge, I guess, but Jesse and Biggs' death on the pillar was just not as emotionally impactful for me as they were setting it up to be because of the specters. So as I'm getting to know these characters throughout the first half of this game, I'm like, man, I really care about like Jesse and Biggs. This is weird. And Wedge, even Wedge. I'm like, I care about these. I know they're gonna die soon, but I care about them. This is gonna be hard. This is gonna be tough. Yeah. And as soon as like you see Biggs, I think it is, and you're running towards him to kind of like help him, and the Spectre gets all up in your face, and it just stares you down, and I'm like, what? Like why? And then you run towards Biggs, and you finally have this emotional conversation with him, and all I can think about in my mind was like, what was that all about? You know what I mean? It just literally took me out of the moment. Like, what was the Spectre all about? Getting all up in my face. Oh, I'm sorry, Biggs. I'm just not here mentally. I'm sorry. You're dying, but that's okay. And
well, does your hindsight still feel that way about that moment, though?
Yeah. Yes. And I think it proves my point on the whole, like, it just lessens the impact whenever you introduce this whole destiny and fate thing. It's going to lessen.
But he didn't die, right? Biggs was alive in the very end.
Was he?
Or was that an alternate timeline?
Was he in an alternate timeline? I'm pretty sure. I think he was in an alternate timeline. I think they were implying that he was in an alternate timeline.
So he was waking up at that preschool for kids that he used to stay at.
My prediction is that instead of Cloud being there, Zack was there, and he was able to save the day, and they just got hurt. That's what I'm going to go with. You'll probably replay the events of the first one, but this time as Zack, and Cloud is still kind of recovering. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So you're thinking we're gonna pick back off, but it's gonna be just Zack this time.
Yeah, Zack will be on the train heading into this mission because he accepted it. Maybe he doesn't even go through with it. I don't know.
But how would Zack know Tifa?
That's a good question. Maybe he just is a bystander and sees it. Maybe he's trying to take down Avalanche. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows, man? It's all alternate timeline. I guess it makes you excited about it. I don't know. For me, it's fan fiction. Like I don't care. But back to that my point of the Spectres taking me out of the moment. Just every time they showed up, I was out of the moment. Like, this is just not cool. And then, of course, the kicker with Barrett getting stabbed. I knew like right then and there. I was not even surprised. I said, I know at that point in the story, I knew who the Spectres were, and I knew what their purpose was. Like, I figured it out. Okay. I had already figured it out. I was like, they're here to keep the plot intact, and here they go. As soon as Barrett dies, I'm like, where are they at? Where are they at? There they are. And then they embrace Barrett. And I'm like, oh, it's so stupid. And then and I knew that Sephiroth knew it too. Like he just kind of like, he was playing with it. He's like, I'm going to go up here and kill Barrett because I know he won't die.
Now,
he kind of knew it.
But anyways. The whole Sephiroth thing now, to me, I feel like is more confusing than ever. Because in the original timeline, he knows he loses, and he knows in the long run he doesn't have a physical body, right? So
are you talking about like this is the Sephiroth that's in Remake?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's Sephiroth. So is he also aware of the fact that he's not going to win? Because he tells Cloud something about that, like towards the end, like the future that you want or the world that where this takes place hasn't happened yet or something. And it's
all right. Let's I don't mean to cut you off on this one, but I kind of want to come back to it because I want to have like a segment where we just say, all right, future of Final Fantasy VII Remake predictions, right? Okay. So let's do that. Let's go back to the story of Remake and our review of that. And so basically, to sum up my entire thoughts on this game, or on the story, was that the story was at its absolute best when it was following the original's plot points. It was at its absolute best when it was building off of those original plot points. It was at its worst whenever the Spectres were on the screen. And they showed up big time at the end, which made the end really bad. Really bad. So now I'm gonna go back to Yeah, it just made it really bad. I've already touched on the convoluted, the plot, the stupid boss fight, the Kingdom Hearts. What in the Kingdom Hearts is going on? That's literally what I said out loud. I said, "What in the Kingdom Hearts is going on right now?" And Laura's watching me. My wife is watching me play it, and she could tell that I was like, "What in the Kingdom Hearts is this?" And I'm fighting this boss, and all of this spectacle is happening around me. Giant Heartless in the background, and I'm like, I'm not impressed at all. I'm not impressed. It was spectacle for the sake of spectacle, man. Like it was just bad. And then fighting Sephiroth, I was not happy. The Advent Children fight between Sephiroth and me, it wasn't vibing with me at all. I did not want to fight Sephiroth.
Point. I didn't see the point of it.
No.
At all. I didn't understand why I was fighting Sephiroth.
So, yeah, and then to conclude my thoughts on the story, with one last thought, just the fact that before that fight, that thing was showing the team glimpses of the future that happened in the original game, and they were showing them this is what is going to happen. And then Red 13 says, this will be our fate if we do not succeed today. Implying that the original story was the bad timeline, was the bad ending. And that is rubbing my face all up in the dirt. When it just is a disgrace to the original game. An absolute disgrace. Because now, at this point, it's a retcon. It's Final Fantasy VII retcon. It's not remake. It's not reboot. It's or I guess you could call it a soft reboot. It's a retcon. It's saying that, hey, we can change things up on how they happen in the original because let's face it, Aerith died. That's not good. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like death it's part of life, man. And then you're taking the substance out of what made Final Fantasy VII great. And now you're adding alternate timelines where Zack lives. And it's like, does death even matter in this game anymore? Of course, will she or won't she die? We don't know. But now it's I don't know, man. I wanted to see the faithful recreation of her death scene and remade. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see Forgotten City remade. I'm sure
I do want to see the Forgotten City. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see it. Those places still exist out there. I mean, in the world. I mean, you can't just not have Cosmo Canyon or Gold Saucer or those places are out there. And I think that is what's going to get me excited for the next game when they start showing us hey, here's what Gold Saucer looks like. I'm gonna be like, oh my god.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine what Gold Saucer is gonna be after Wall Market.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, 7 out of 10 for the story. I just that ending just completely ruined it for me. But up until that moment, I enjoyed the character growth, the voice acting. I guess if I step out of my shell and try to see it from an outside view, I guess that we're having a conversation about it, which is good. What ifs? That's good. If this was a new game that didn't have any ties to the original, which is hard to say because the Spectres were literally there to reference the original. The original. Yeah. But if you're looking at it from a new player, just wow, what's going to happen next? Who is this black-haired guy at the end? What is Sephiroth's intentions? What's going on? So it invokes conversation. So that's really good. But Rob, you're up, man. Sorry, I went on a long rant there.
Well, it definitely gave something for the new and something for the old. If you'd never played the original, but I'm sure you know the major plot points, I'm sure you know how the story goes, but hey, you never experienced it. To you, playing this one is going to be hey, I'm going to do it better. That I'm going to make this better. I don't want Aerith to die. I do want to defeat Sephiroth. I want to see if I can, if we can get let's see if maybe we can all live. Maybe we can all live and we can still destroy Sephiroth. Maybe there is a better way. And to me, this feels not more like a reboot, or maybe probably a better way to say a reboot would be to go back to, say, how J.J. Abrams handled the original Star Trek.
Oh, there's my Star Wars reference I need to go with. Go ahead.
Star Trek. He created a new timeline without touching the old timeline at all. He left the old timeline as it was, but he created a new one, so that way if you were a fan just wanting to get into Star Trek or wanting to see what it was about, you could jump right in. And if you were an old fan, you could still jump right in and say, oh, wow, well, that's kind of cool. And I do feel they did that on a lot of different things, but me and you, like I said, there's still things I'm still confused. Why did you have to fight Sephiroth at the end? Mm-hmm. If Sephiroth in any way is behind what's happening, why is he trying to not only change the fate of himself, for possibly the better, but what the hell does this have to do with this time thing? Because apparently these specters are now so powerful they cause fluxes throughout like the time wave, and that's why we were seeing Zack and Cloud and all that. That I just didn't understand. I didn't get it. I don't know why they're doing it, other than just to say, hey guys, remember the story Well, we're gonna do something a little different with this time. Just a little bit.
Right.
And like I said, I am kind of hyped about Zack's adventure, but I think I'm still more hyped about, like you said, Cosmo Canyon. When I was standing in Shinra Building and I'm watching that the History of the Ancients video, all I'm thinking about is, I can't wait till I get to Cosmo Canyon and we get to see the space thing, and we get to stay there, and there's all this stuff lying around. It's gonna be so
it's gonna.
That's all I was thinking of. So I thought it's so difficult, man, to almost judge this now, and I do feel like this is something we're gonna have to come back to.
Yeah. It's like
it's not done. It's not done.
Right. It's not
maybe,
done, and that's fair assessment. Yeah.
Maybe they plan to retcon all the things that you hated they retconned. Maybe they plan on shooting themselves in the foot, saying, "Hey, we really did mess this one up." I hope they don't. I hope they stick with.
No, they won't.
I hope they stick with their idea, and I hope
way.
they stick with their plan. Yeah. Because clearly he's got a bigger idea, and there were so many times. Sorry.
No. Go ahead, man. I want to. Yeah.
There were so many times where I was playing it, and I'm just going. I can see where when he was doing the original, he was going, "Man, I really wish we could have, put a little bit more stuff into here." It's like I can see that when I'm playing the new games. Like, this is Tetsuya Nomura from '96 when they were designing, going, "God, I really wish we could have done this here. I really wish we could have done that there. I really wish we had more time to focus on this or give this character more flesh out." And it's like I trust those decisions. I trust everything he's done with that.
When they were doing that, they were doing it. That was everything I wanted, man. When they were doing that, like when the things that they couldn't do in the original, and they started doing it, going back to see the plate fall and stuff like that. Like, you can't do that in the original. They didn't have the resources or whatever. They built off of those moments so well, and like Wall Market was so well done. I loved it. Had all new characters, a whole new plot line. But guess what?
Even Caitlyn Jenner.
Right. They were all fun. And it was all respectful to the original, and that right there is a true testament to me saying, like, I did not want a 1-to-1 remake. You know what I mean? This was all new, and I absolutely loved it. So yeah, but go ahead. I just want to interject there.
I mean, I really don't know like what else, because I mean, like I said, it's just I really do feel like this was like a Rian Johnson moment. Because like I hated The Last Jedi, man. I hated it.
I'm hoping.
And then when I hated The Last Jedi because why? Because it didn't give me what I wanted. So what did they do in Rise of Skywalker? They gave me everything I wanted, and it left an even worse taste in my mouth. And that's what made me think, you know what? at least he tried to do something different.
I mean, so I'll go with my Star Wars reference now that I've been holding out. When people tell me that,
I'm ready.
Like, they're just like, can you just imagine? Because I feel like there's a lot of Star Wars fans. Okay, just imagine, and Star Wars is held sacred to many people. Luke Skywalker is a sacred character. You don't mess with it, right? And let's just say that they announce we're going to remake Star Wars A New Hope. And then everybody's like, whoa. And this is the same thing that happened with Final Fantasy VII Remake. Everybody's like, whoa, dude, wait. This is sacred territory that you're about to step into. Are you sure? And
Can I interject?
Okay.
I don't think it's fair to compare the two mediums. Video games and film. I don't think that's a fair trade.
Well, Final Fantasy VII is borderline film. I mean, it's all about story anyway. Okay, so let's just...
But a film made in 1997 compared to like a film made today, as opposed to a video game made in 1997 to a video game made today, I think the leaps and bounds are astronomical.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I feel like these are two similar situations, two similar, like, in level of fandom.
I just want to interject on that.
Yeah,
just because I don't think that was fair. But
I'll try to find a way.
But if you can hit the point, man, if you can hit your mark,
I want to find a way to make this relate to anybody. If you're a Star Wars fan, this is for you. If you're not a Star Wars fan, I'll find something for you. Okay, I'll tell you about the story I told my mom.
Imagine Harry Potter wasn't born with testicles.
Oh god, I told my mom because she's very faithful, and I was like, Mom, imagine if they said we are going to make a movie about Jesus, but in this movie there's an alternate timeline where it's just like they just really screw up everything. I said, I know this is weird, you can't really compare the two mediums, but anyways, all right. So the Star Wars thing, all right. So you have Star Wars. They're going to remake A New Hope. All right. Everybody is kind of like on edge. Like, wait, you better treat this with respect. Okay. And then they say, don't worry. Everything, we're going to do it faithfully. We're going to add some new elements because we're going to make it modern. But don't worry. All of your favorite moments will be intact. It'll be great. The promise has been made. Star Wars A New Hope. The 2022 version starts to show
a newer hope.
A newer hope. The newest hope.
The newest hope. The latest hope.
The latest. They start showing trailers for it, and everybody's like, oh, wait a second. They're doing it. Oh my god, this is exciting. And like, I didn't think I wanted it, but they're doing it. Right? Nobody will ever replace Mark Hamill, but oh my god, they're doing it, right? And then you go to the movie theater and you sit down, you're watching it, you're like, oh my god, this is it. Everything's there. The garbage compactor scene's done so well. This is so good. Everything is so... I'm living it up. I'm in nostalgic bliss right now. I am loving this. And then, at the end, when you're about to blow up the Death Star, Darth Vader from the future, he knows he fails, comes back, and he says, wait a second, we're going to defy destiny. And Luke teleports into another dimension and fights this gigantic Heartless with his X-Wing. And now, from here on out, everything is going to be different. So Empire Strikes Back doesn't happen anymore. We don't know. Will we go back to Hoth? We'll find out. And then, and it's just like, what? After you get out and you're like, everything that happens after A New Hope is retconned? Are you kidding me?
I respectfully disagree.
You would like to see that?
No, I just don't. I don't think
you don't like the two mediums. I get it. What's your favorite video game of all time? Are you a Metal Gear Solid fan? Let's change up the
honestly.
Actually, that would actually make sense because
I was about to say, now that we're talking about some timeline stuff, could you imagine old Kratos meeting Greek Kratos?
it's just
I don't know. I'm just like thinking about that right now. I'm like, oh my god, that'd be kind of cool.
As soon as you throw in time travel and an alternate realities, for me, everything just loses substance. It just doesn't work anymore. And like, Marvel Avengers is probably the only thing that has pulled that off.
And Back to the Future.
Sure.
But it's in the name. It's in the name. So.
Sure. And like, I'm like, okay, but you can't say like. And then when I say Kingdom Hearts, I said this in my video that Nomura ruined Kingdom Hearts. I know this is a touchy subject for you too, but in all fairness, and I'm going back to correct what I said because I was mad when I said it. Like, he ruined this game. He ruined Kingdom Hearts. I will say that Kingdom Hearts was his. It was his baby. He created that story, and it was a continuation of his story. He promised an ending. He did not deliver. But he told us, I mean, he gave us Kingdom Hearts 3. This is his story. He can do whatever he wants with it. But Final Fantasy VII is all of our stories. It's not theirs to mess with anymore. Final Fantasy VII doesn't belong to Square anymore. It belongs to the fans. Like, this game is more than a video game to a lot of people. And then
there's a saying when it comes to any type of artistic ability. When you create something and then you release it, it's no longer yours.
Right.
That's it. When you create something, you know, whether it's a film, whether it's a song, a video game, a monument, once you create it and then you release it, you allow everyone to now open up and now discuss it, to see it and to compare themselves to it. It's no longer yours anymore.
It's no longer
yours. It doesn't belong to you.
And this is not
and that's exactly. And so that's to go with what you're saying. It's like, it's not yours anymore. You know, it's ours.
And I'll be completely honest with you. I never vibed with any of the compilation. I mean, Crisis Core was good, but
I never.
Yeah, Crisis Core was good because that was the past. They basically just reiterated what happened in the original Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, Advent Children, I didn't like it all the way up until the last couple minutes when you fight Sephiroth, or when Cloud fights Sephiroth. I'll go back and watch that scene all the time. But the movie itself was bad.
It's a slow drag. It's such a slow drag.
It was bad.
And it sucks because I love the character of Kadaj. I really did. I liked his temperament, how he talked. You know, he's almost he's like flamboyant in a way. You know, it's kind of, I love that. I did. I loved all that. So I wanted more Kadaj, but they know what the fans wanted, so they gave us Sephiroth.
They gave us Sephiroth, and then. So yeah, I block a lot of this stuff out because it's not Final Fantasy VII to me. Let's be honest. Everybody blocked out the ending credit scene to Dirge of Cerberus when Genesis shows back up.
That was in it.
Yeah. At the end, Genesis comes. It was bad. It was just bad. Genesis. It was just bad, and like nobody wanted that.
Asked
nobody
for this.
cared.
Nobody asked for this.
So when you said you are going to remake Final Fantasy VII, that's what people wanted. They wanted Final Fantasy VII that they remake. If you would have said, if Square would have told me, we are making Final Fantasy VII 2,
Daniel,
I would be like,
Final Fantasy VII 2.
Right, I'd be like, okay, I think their story's done, but let's go. But when you told me that you're remaking Final Fantasy VII, I'm talking not to you, Rob. I'm talking to Square.
I know, because I'm saying, I was like, you're talking like you're saying to me.
Looking,
like, first of all,
I'm looking at you, Katase. I'm looking right at you. You know what I mean? Yeah, they said that they were remaking Final Fantasy VII. They bait and switch, the ultimate bait and switch, to bring you in, to tell you this is the remake that you've been asking for 15 years, and then guess what? We're going to make that Final Fantasy VII 2 that we've been wanting to do. You know what I mean? And now you're hooked. Now you're hooked by the throat. You're not hooked. You're hooked by the throat.
So can I ask this question?
Yeah.
Are you going to play the sequels?
Okay, go back to me.
Are you going to play the sequels?
All right. So listen. Listen. Admittedly. I'm gonna be truthful to you. When they start showing a new trailer, I'm things are gonna start moving in my body. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, that's Cosmo Canyon. That's the gold saucer.
We going back, baby. We going back, baby.
Woo! I can't wait. And then I'm gonna be like, oh man, I'm getting excited because the locations are characters in themselves, right?
Yes.
So I'm excited to see him again. I'm excited to see him again.
I want to see the damn Chocobo farm. I just want to see what the farm looks like.
I was excited to see what Calm looked like. To be honest with you, I was excited, like, the game, how it should have ended. After that epic motor fight when you're fighting the guy on the, and you got to the end of the runway.
Yep.
I
really did think that was it. Like,
that was epic.
I was almost ready to, like, set the controller down, like, finally, I'm done.
I told Lara, I said I was ready, no lie, for them to stop right there at the end of that road, walk to the edge, see the sun rise on this open world that you'll get to explore in the next game, and then credits. I would have literally stood up and applauded, and I've never done that in a video game. I would have literally I would have stood up and applauded, man. Like, I would have, like, that is how you end the game, and that is perfection. This game was perfection. You take out all the specters. Keep all the new additions, the new characters, whatever. Take the specters and the destiny-defying alternate timeline crap out, and this was perfection. And I think that is what makes me so mad, is that they showed us...
They were this close. They were that close.
They showed us that they could do it, man. They showed us that, like, hey, you had doubts, but we fulfilled them. We fulfilled all your worries are gone. We can do it. We can remake. We can remake this game. Not remaster, because that's what you would want. That's what you said at the beginning of this video, where you just polish it up, make it look pretty. That's all you want. That's a remaster. A remake. They had to remake this game from the ground up. Like, this had to be remade. And then they showed us that they could do it. And then they were like, guess what? You know what I mean? And it's just like, why? Just why? So yeah.
We are gonna have to wrap up rather soon, Daniel.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, this is that was actually probably like the best way to end this video.
Yeah, straight credits now.
Honestly, that was probably the best way to end the video right there. That final statement worked out great for me.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Rob.
All right.
Thanks so much for joining me on this podcast.
Like, wrap it up.
Yeah. Hey yo.
Well, just for the audio, we gotta wrap up real quick. Yeah. Yeah. You want to say it?
All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching this podcast.
Yeah, man. Thank you, guys. This was amazing. More. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm coming back, baby.
Yes. All right, guys. See you in the next one.
Later.